Hey guys, Carlos here. I'd like to thank all the people who've been watching, everybody's commenting, and all the love that's been coming in. I really appreciate it. The video that you're about to watch is about weathering white, and I just wanted to take a minute to ask everybody, if you can, the best way you can support the channel right now is to tell a friend, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your priest, tell your rabbi, tell your mom, tell somebody, you know, what I'm doing, and I'd like to keep doing it. I want to grow the channel. I'm not asking for any money yet, and you know, I mean, this is something that I like doing. So if you like it too, you know, please spread the word, and hopefully there will be a lot of videos to come in the following year. I do have plans to, you know, I've got some new software. I've got some couple new components, and so anyhow, I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks for listening. What up, guys? Carlos here. Facebook, Scarlet and Sable. YouTube, while you're here, Scarlet and Sable. Instagram, Scarlet and Sable. These are all places where you can find me. You can see I'm twirling the bust that I got. This is the special bust from P3, and I am going to be doing the weathering on the white. If you can see over here, you can see kind of some of the weathering that I've done to this side. And I kind of wanted to stop it before it got too far along. Let me see if I can adjust the light a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. I didn't want to get out of balance, and that's something I would do whether I was going to do a video or not. It's important to, as we have said before, to maintain our kind of our balance in terms of the model's, you know, kind of sides. I've gone for an asymmetrical look. You see I have the pattern here on the right, or I'm sorry, on the left, his left shoulder. It's a little bit wonky, but I think with weathering and maybe some other stuff, hopefully we can sort of draw attention away from that. I was going to do it on camera, but I thought it would have been even more brutal. And anyhow, so we see over on the right shoulder that there is some chipping and some stippling and all kinds of stuff going on there. The Reaper White is really watery, but decent. The work colors, I kind of came out with a hot take in a video that I didn't publish, because not necessarily because of the hot take on the work colors, but I kind of wanted to give them a little bit more of a longer trial run. I bought the intro set, and after using them for about, I'd say, a week or two, I'm still not really sold on them, so you know, more forthcoming. So you see in here in the palette, these are mostly rust tones. I can point to them and kind of show you. This is the this is for the non-metallic metal gold. That's Japanese uniform. This is heavy body red from Vallejo. This is Vallejo dark rust. This is Reaper chestnut brown, which is like a very tank brown like color. It's a little redder. Right here is fresh rust or new rust or orange rust from Vallejo. This is a Vallejo rust wash. This is golden heavy body cadmium light red. This is golden heavy body cadmium yellow light. Dark sea blue. The work color is gray. Work colors turquoise, purple ink, the white, and heavy body white that I just laid down. So we'll start with probably doing a little bit of the chipping. So let's get in focus, get in the camera. Now, the other day and before, you know, I've kind of told people, you know, be fearless. You do you. And, you know, when I was painting not too long ago, I kind of was like second guessing myself. I was going on to message boards and saying like, hey guys, and I don't know if it's like, honestly, I don't know, but like I don't get a lot of feedback online on my miniatures, so it's really hard for me to sort of improve in that way. I really want to go to painting classes and that kind of stuff. It seems like things never quite line up for me, and also I'm not going to spend the money right now to do that kind of stuff. I can't really swing it, so I don't know. I can't seem to get the right kind of feedback, or any in some cases. And so, when I realized, I was like, man, I'm a huge hypocrite. I tell everybody to be fearless, and here I am, doubting myself and not taking a ton of chances. And, when it comes down to it, you spend $40-50 on a model. Of course you don't want to, really screw it up. So right now I have the dark rust. It's kind of gently watered down, and I've seen people, like especially in the MIG Ammo and Vallejo videos, they get like the chipping color or the Vallejo tank camo black brown, and they just kind of like draw these chips on, and it just goes on so easy. And I always wonder, like, what are they doing? Like, how are they doing that? Because I can never get these paints to flow real well. I watered it down slightly, and I've kind of want to do like a little bit of a heavier chip. The places where I'm applying my chips are going to be areas that are going to maybe have a sword stroke, or if he bumped into somebody when he was in the chow line and he scraped his shoulder pad on like a pipe or something. That's kind of what I'm trying to express here. So I'm just gonna keep on going around the shoulder, and I don't know if you can see it, but it's kind of got like that ridge. So that to me seems like something that would definitely get some abuse or some abrasion, some abrading. So I'm just gonna try to emphasize that. And this paintbrush I also got from War Colors, and it's okay too. It's kind of like the paint. It's like neither here nor there. It's all right. I don't necessarily well, I miss my Rosemary & Co. and I miss my Winsor & Newton. I guess that's a polite way of saying, like, I don't know if I care for this brush style. It's got this really long point on it. I guess this is not really a tutorial. It's just kind of me complaining. So I've got the start of something there, and if you wanted, you could maybe spice it up with a little bit of sponge work, as we are wont to do. You can use the sponge to kind of hit random areas and sort of give you like as long as you keep to those areas that are going to be good for chipping, it'll sort of give you like what some people call a roadmap to kind of draw on further chips. So I think I have decent chipping around the shoulders. Back here I might just do like a little bit there, maybe a little bit over here. And somebody told me, like, I think it was on Reddit, when I shared this, they're like, man, how'd you get those perfect chips? And I'm like, I don't know, I kind of think I kind of wanted to change some of them, but thank you for saying that. You know what I mean? So it's always, when we see things that other people do, it seems like everything is, like studied and on purpose. But in my case, no, it was very much an accident. So if you wanted, like, if you were going to do a competition type piece, or you were going to do something that was maybe you wanted it to be extra special, you might even put in a couple different darker chipping colors. This mini is I am spending some time on it, but I'm going to spice it up using my rust tones. So maybe just a little here along this area. And I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but on these shoulders, I did quite a bit of kind of layers and what would be called mapping in the armor community. And that's kind of like where you apply different sort of different tonalities of the same base color. So you kind of alternate your base color, and then like I stippled on some of the white, and it's definitely not coming across. Unfortunately, it's super overexposed, so you can't really see it. Maybe if I shade it, you can sort of see it. You still can't really see it, but I stippled on a lot of different white colors, and it kind of gives it a little bit more interest, which I may show. I might do, for example, I might do this part right here, his, whatever this is, the little Iron Man plate. I might do that. To keep it brief, I'll just grab one of these smaller scratches, and we'll kind of show how we would do our rust. So first things first, we'll get a little bit of the I guess the fresh rust or the light rust. And if the table's wobbling, that's because I didn't pay for this furniture and it's super cheap, so not my fault. Anyways, so right here you see we have this big chip, and we have these rim chips. So what I'll do on this bigger chip right here is I will just sort of get a little bit of that diluted fresh rust around this area. And if it gets a little bit too, and so obviously you realize I'm using, these are all acrylics, and as I've said before in my videos, this is, the difficulty goes up when you use acrylics. You can do many of the same things that you do with oils, it's just much harder. Reason being, you have a lot less time. You have to be technically proficient and quick, and yeah, you basically, your execution has to be on point. I think that's how I heard somebody else describe it. So again, gonna layer in a little bit more of the rust, and I'm just kind of getting around it. Not really, no need for precision. I just don't want to get too intense with it to begin with. And if you look at images of rust, you will see that it kind of does this, you know, it kind of stains the surrounding area. So anyhow, gonna grab a little bit more, and here's a little change that I've been kind of doing, is I'm incorporating these like super bright primaries. Like right now I'm grabbing red and a little bit of the chestnut, the Reaper chestnut. And that is, you know, it's not what I would call a traditional rust color, but you can see, especially on like this bolt right here, I used like a ton of orange, yellow and red on that, and like I really like the way the rust came out. So there are, you know, rust has a lot of different tonalities and varieties, and right now I am kind of enjoying the redder types. Okay, so I don't like that. So, you know, it's still wet, no harm done. I can kind of go back and just continue to play with it. So just use very light applications. And if I had, this is like an ideal situation for the life color that I typically use. If you go back in almost any of my videos, I use the life color dust, rust and dust diorama set. So if you can get those are highly recommended, of course. So this is the chestnut ink, and this is a little bit redder than I want, so I'm just going to get a bit of the dark rust, and I'm going to continue to work it. So I'll do this back and forth. You know, if I don't like the way it's coming out, or I don't see what I want to see, I'm just going to continue to play with these values. And that's kind of one of our weathering strategies, is that we use these layers, even if they're not perfect, even if they don't look necessarily 100% correct right away. That's how we're going to continue to sort of build our narrative, build our coats up, because we want, oh man, I got a nasty tide mark there. We want to have that sort of, the layers are what lends the kind of authenticity to it. So I pretty much wiped away almost everything that I did. So now I'm going to go back again. This time I'm going to get the Vallejo Rust Wash, the light rust. And I'll just hit it again, but it's very light in this application. You can see very see-through, so I'm just gonna again grab a little bit here and there, not bad, and then maybe take it down. And at this stage you can do these sort of rust streaking kind of sheets. By sheets I mean like these like larger kind of rust patches flowing downward. And what these do is that over time, as we build these up, it's going to kind of give us like we're gonna build on it. So we're gonna have like a backdrop to paint our smallest, darkest streaks. So the way you want to do it is your lighter streaks are kind of going to be the broadest and the most. They're going to cover the most area, and then with your dark color, in this case fresh rust, or I'm sorry, old rust, Vallejo old rust, or any dark brown or dark red you have, you can then draw in your small streaks. And we can sort of since we're using acrylics in this application, we are going to be able to see that we have, you're going to be able to see that happen quicker. So it's still drying. While it's drying, I can start to maybe fill in some of these other areas, or give a little color right here, go down here, just kind of start filling in. And you don't really have to you don't have to worry about getting all over the place. Just keep your layers very light, very delicate, and you will build them up. And you'll start to see that over time they sort of they start to fill in. So okay, so now I have my darkest color, and what I'll do is I'll draw just I'll try to draw a very fine streak. Now, see, I was talking smack about these watercolor brushes, but this fine tip is like, it's like really nice for drawing in this particular type of effect. Just tiny little streak. And so I can re-emphasize that. It should dry relatively quickly. You can do it again. Louder. And then we come down, and that one got a little bit too fat towards the end. So I'll just keep manipulating it like that. Again, because these are acrylics, we need to be. And see, I was going really slow. Really, you should go a little bit faster. That's going to keep your line pretty straight, rather than kind of like dragging it like I did. That's not necessarily what we want to do. So, well, there we go. That's our streak. We're gonna have to live with that one. So as you see, like I started to kind of, I'm starting to build it up, and that's all it is. It's a continual building up of these layers. So as far as these chips go, another way we're gonna, like when something gets chipped, it doesn't get chipped. Like all the chipping on a car fender doesn't happen in one day. It could, but it usually doesn't. It's going to be built up over time. So as we complete each successive layer, what we can do to kind of bury these layers is we just cover it with like a filter or a glaze. In this case, this is, depending on if you're using, who you're talking to and what kind of paint you're using, this could be either a filter or a glaze. A filter is over the whole surface, so we'll do a filter, which is just covering the surface. And I actually learned this from some of the Spanish painters, and also I saw Rick Lawler's video on Miniature Mentor long time ago, and this is one of the things that he did after he did a lot of chipping work on the tractor he's working on in the Miniature Mentor video. This is one of the things that he does. He does these sort of really thin glazes over his work, and it's sort of like it creates a layer over the layer, and then it kind of submerges the chipping, so it kind of unifies it with the other work that you've done. So yeah, this checkers They're a little bit crazy. I'm probably going to need to touch those up. But you see just a little bit of what we've done with the rust. So again, as it's drying, I'll get a little bit of the rust, wash, and I will maybe come down here, just fill it in a little bit, put a little bit more up here, and I'll just keep doing that. And since it's so light, it's not going to be, you know, it's not going to be too much. Now it could be too much. Maybe you get to a point where you're on your 50th layer and it's like maybe it's time to call it a day. But right now I'm just getting started. I'm only on layer 3 or 4. So we'll continue to do this all around the figure. And that's how I would rust the white. I try to keep it short. I hope you got something out of it. And I really look forward to getting back to my main workshop, getting my airbrush back, because brush painting is a hassle, and yeah, just going on from there. So anyways, look forward to maybe a painting white video and a couple other things. I'd like to do more reviews. They're a lot less work. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Carlos, Scarlet and Sable. Instagram, Scarlet and Sable. YouTube, Scarlet and Sable. All right. Thanks for watching.